Welcome to the Awakened Goddess Show, your source for inspiration, wisdom, and personal discovery. The place to learn from a diverse mix of mentors, metaphysical experts, spiritual leaders, and best-selling authors from around the world. I'm your host, Angela Wilkinson. Join me as I explore the minds of my masterful guests while they share powerful insights and easy-to-use tools you can start using right away. Now, let's tap into the energy of the Awakened Goddess and be enlightened by today's guest. Hi, I'm Angela Wilkinson, and welcome to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show, where we co-create powerful, conscious conversations on the leading edge. I am so excited because today Rhonda Lee is joining me again. She interviewed me before I left on my trip to Europe, and she's back. But first, I just want to say Rhonda is the creator of Spirit Mist, Smokeless Smudge, and I have to give you a congratulations because you are a second-time best-selling author. So, yay! Congratulations, Rhonda.
Yay! Thank you so much.
So let's dive in because this trip that I went on, I haven't shared like the juicy details with anyone, and there was no better person than you, Rhonda, to have you on the show because I love chatting with you. We have like so much chemistry. We're like total soul sisters. And I was like, I have to have Rhonda back to interview me and pull out all the good stuff from my trip to share. So I'm gonna just
so excited.
I'm just gonna hand you the show and take it away. Ask me any question you have. Nothing's off limits.
Nothing's off limits. Then we need 15 hours because I want all the details. But thank you so much for allowing me the pleasure and honor to interview you again. I'm so excited, and I've been so excited for this trip. And last interview, we caught you just like 2 days before you hopped on and took a plane across the pond. So
yes.
Now my hat's off to you. I'm so excited, and I just want to thank you for stepping out and taking this movement, this epic journey, because I feel like you took one for the team. You're doing it for all of us, and your growth expands all of us. And I want to get as many juicy details as possible in as concise of a time as I can.
Well, if need be, we'll just break it up into 2 shows and because there's just so much. This trip, I don't believe that I fully integrated everything yet because I did only get back about 5 days ago, and I am just now reacquainting myself with this time zone, which is I'm on Pacific time zone, and wow, I'm still like. Even though every moment of the trip, I made sure to really be present and live into it fully. Now I'm like, wow, I just went on this amazing trip, and did it really happen to me? Yeah. So I'm still kind of in this liminal space of how, what happened during this adventure, the downloads I got, and just bringing it all together.
I love you, but we're not going to get this all done in one interview. So you're going to be putting stuff out for a while because you were gone, am I correct, for 35 days?
Yes.
35 days. And I think it's going to take at least double that amount of time to integrate. So let's cut right into it. You land and you arrive at Bath first.
Yes.
And that was your home base, or?
Yes. So I stayed with a show listener, PJ. She was incredible. She opened her home to me, she and her husband, and they were amazing hosts and hostesses. So I started there, and before I even got my feet on the ground, really, 2 days later, I was on an overnight bus to Paris, And my friend Shakima, she's been a guest on the show. She wanted to celebrate her birthday in Paris, and so it was really, really a great opportunity to explore France. And so I went and met her there. So that was like the
Oh,
first adventure.
okay. So let's start with your adventure in Paris. Now, I know that you certainly did some tourist hotspots while you were there, and I know you went on this epic spiritual journey as well. So, can you give us? I want a little teaser before we get into the spiritual aspects of your journey. Um, Touristy, you went to the Eiffel Tower, yes?
Of course. Yes,
Right.
that was like one of the things top on my list. I decided I wanted to go up into the Eiffel Tower all the way to the top, and that was incredible. Incredible views. Had some macaroons. Yeah,
Oh, my favorite thing in the world. Oh my goodness.
total touristy thing. What was interesting though is when I walked up to the Eiffel Tower, it completely I shifted my perspective because I had one image of it in my mind, and then when I got there, it was massive. I couldn't believe, how large it was, and so that was interesting. And thinking about it, I think that was a common theme throughout my trip was that things aren't necessarily what they seem. So when you see something from a distance and then when you actually go there, there's a difference. So that was interesting.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's a really good knowledge nugget right there. Things are not what they seem, and then you're there and you experience it firsthand, and it's radically different. I've found that in many aspects of my life, what your perception is
Yeah.
and what you go through. So this is amazing that you can share this with us, because I know but the Louvre, the catacombs, anything in particular that stood out to you in either one of these places?
Oh gosh. Well, the Louvre was incredible. I would definitely go back because it was a whirlwind through Paris, and of course we had incredible food. Broke probably all the rules. We ordered cheese plates before dinner. Oh, whatever. But yeah, just the wine was great. The food was great. The butter. Oh my gosh, the butter. Uh,
Oh, paint the picture. Okay.
yes, yes. So the food is everything they say it is. Um, but overall, I personally, Paris is not a place that calls to me. I'm glad that I went there once, but I couldn't believe the pace. Like it reminded us of New York, but even faster. So that,
Wow.
yeah, that was really, really fascinating. That was a big shock. I mean, yeah, it was really fast paced.
I
But
was not anticipating that answer at all. I'm
yeah,
completely shocked.
yeah. And then we also did the catacombs, as you said, and
Mhm.
that's where they've buried millions of people. And they actually created, this is all underground. They created almost like it's almost like art. It is art, really, where they've layered bones in designs, kind of like wall structures. I mean, it sounds creepy as I'm describing it, but in reality, I think, in a way, it was really honoring these people and creating this beautiful display of all of these people that had passed. And what was interesting is, as we were going into the catacombs, when I first walked in and saw the bones, like, as soon as you enter the threshold, whoa, that was powerful. And, it kind of like stunned me at first. But then as I walked through, there wasn't like any creepy energy. Like I'm pretty sensitive to energy, and I was actually surprised at how almost sterile it felt in a way.
Oh, that's a good description. I did not anticipate that. I always wondered if it was dungeony like, damp, you know, if
Well, it
it's
was very dark. I
dusty
mean,
or.
yeah, it was
Mhm,
very dark because you're like in these tunnels.
mhm, mhm.
And so, but yeah, it was just an interesting experience. But once you see the bones, it's like, okay, well, that was a good experience. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so did you have any particular insights or downloads in Paris while you were there, or was this part of the trip strictly recreational, or
Yes. Yes.
it's
Strictly
recreational part? This was the party part.
the party part. Yes. This was like the full on just adventure. Um, and and there was a specific time, and we'll get to this later, I'm sure. Uh, in my trip, it was about halfway through that I felt that's when this like the spiritual, like the transformation kicked in, and it like totally kicked in. But that was like the second half.
Oh, okay. All right. So then we're not to that point. I was very curious because, it's a multifaceted trip, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking of all this wealth of information that you're gathering to bring back to us on the show. And, you know, you have to share though, while we're still here in Paris, paint this highlight for us. What was your favorite part of the Paris experience, of the
Well,
adventure?
well, the Louvre was incredible, but also being in the Eiffel Tower and just, yeah, just being in that environment, that was really special. Because it was
And you
like,
were there how many days?
we were there about 3 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really quick. So it
Mhm.
was just go, go, go. Yeah. And actually, that was that was one thing that happened was I actually got sick after probably on the 6th of October when I arrived. So it's, yeah, I ended up being sick my entire trip, which I think is more than just being sick. I think there's more to it, but yeah, that's that comes again farther down in the trip.
See, I'm completely not surprised by you saying that. And I think it's because your body, I'm going to interject a little bit around it. I think your body is just calling for that to make you slow down so you can integrate. I think even more happened for you than you realize. And I
Oh
find the
yeah.
only time I get like colds is when a lot of stuff happens and I have to assimilate it. So I
Hmm.
just think you just got so much to share with us in the coming months as you land back here
Yeah.
in the United States. So I have to interject that. So from Paris, you traveled to Amsterdam. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. This was actually a
Wow.
huge surprise. This was not on my radar at all. Um,
Okay.
yes. So I was actually planning on going to. There was a possibility of going to south of France.
Mhm.
Um, but as I was kind of looking into it, it just wasn't really calling me. Whereas my friends, Shakima, she was going on to Amsterdam for like the second part of her birthday travels, and so after kind of sitting with it, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna just take a shot and go for it. And so I got hopped on another overnight bus and I met them in Amsterdam.
Oh, okay. So did you stay in a hotel while you were there, or were you hosted somewhere in Amsterdam?
Yes. So again, my friend Shakima, she was like,
So you
"Hey,
just
yeah,
went
you
with.
can just yes, yeah." It was yeah, everything just that was another thing about this trip. Everything unfolded perfectly. There were times when I had like very little money and I manifested it within less than 24 hours. So, but that's coming up. That's coming up in London. So we'll get to that.
Okay, well, I mean, while we're still here, I just think it's fascinating that you've taken this leap, and then you're just intuitive led, and you're living in trust. That's a
Oh,
powerful
yes.
lesson. So
Yeah, it
maybe
was it
maybe
was a
for you,
powerful lesson for me. It was huge. It was
okay,
huge because I had never fully stepped in and trusted like I did with this trip. And that's, you know, speaking just for myself, that was really a big deal. Because I've trusted before, but not really deeply and fully trusted. Like it was like more of a saying I'm trusting, it was more of a head experience rather than a full body experience. And this was really stepping in, and like I wasn't feeling anxious. There were moments when I was like, okay, what's the next thing? But that was the thing. I just allowed the energy to flow and move through me and guide me. And I was never like anxious or panicky. It all just flowed.
Now, see, on the outside looking, oh, we just had adventure. No, you just had listen and trust. So let me, you're living it, but then in you retelling this story, I'm seeing like huge transformation right there, and opportunity for growth. Definitely, of epic spiritual proportions. You're like, oh, we're just having an adventure. And I'm like, you just hooked up and went with somebody, and you trusted, you had a place to stay with them, and I think there's more to it as we unpack this, because
Yes.
I'm seeing huge right there. I mean, how many people just kind of take off like that by the seat of their pants? A lot of people don't do that, Angela. A lot of us are still afraid and to just kind of do that sort of thing by the seat of their
Yeah.
pants. I mean, you did literally. Ta-da! So,
Well,
you say adventure, I say transformation.
well, okay, I do have to back up because I don't know if we talked about this the last time, because it was so in the moment when you interviewed me last time. I did not have enough money. I had purchased, it was about, I think, a week or 2 weeks out, a couple weeks out when I purchased my ticket
Yeah.
to the UK. I did not have the money to come back. It was the
I
day
remember that.
It was the day before I left that I finally purchased my ticket. So, I mean, that was literally using every single dollar I had in that moment to get my ticket back. So I was totally like jumping and trusting that the leap was, or that the net was going to catch me. Yeah.
Oh, girl. I could unpack this for days. We don't have enough video time, but I'm telling you, that is such a profound lesson for so many people right there. I'll just leave it at that, because I feel like we could
Yeah.
go on and on with that. And I know we need to tell some more of these amazing stories of your journey, but I have to just kind of halt it right there, and say for this little bit,
Yeah.
major lessons that you get to share, and we get to witness that through your lens. I'm like, oh, God, adventures with Angela, and it's just going on and on for days, and it's so much more than an adventure. So
Yeah, it was a full on, and that was part of this, because I have been talking about traveling for at least a year,
mhm.
and I never, if you looked at my bank account, I've never had the resources, the money to do it, and then there was the catalyst that a few things happened that made me just step in and make that decision to just go for it. So, yeah. So getting back to
Your trip to Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, yes. So what I didn't tell you is, so when I got there, I needed to find the hotel. But the SIM card I had purchased in England when I had arrived, it didn't work it didn't work in France, and it didn't work in Amsterdam. So I had no navigation. And so trying to navigate and I trying to navigate from the bus station to the train station to the hotel was an experience in and of itself. So I had to stop and ask people, and for some reason, no one seemed to know where this street was. And, you know, fast forward, it was only not even a mile away. It was like, probably 3/4 of a mile away where my hotel was. But if you look at how, like, if you were to look on a map of how I navigated my way, I kept stopping and asking people, and it was an experience that, again, it was like universe saying, you got to trust. Because at one point I was getting a little frustrated, and like, I was walking, it was dark, and I'm walking down streets that, like no one is. And so I finally, there was like there was a couple that was coming. They were like the fourth people I'd asked, can you help me find my hotel? And so they heard that I did not have an accent. And they asked, oh, well, where are you from? And I said, Portland, Oregon. And they said, oh, well, we're from Bend. And that's like 2.5 hours from where I live. And so they just
exactly. Okay. Wow.
they just laugh. They just laugh. And they were able to, they said, our hotel is right down the street from where yours is. And so just like that, I was able to find my way. But I mean, there are no coincidences.
Absolutely.
And so for me to come across this couple that live like 2.5 hours away, and here we are around the world. And yeah, so that was like, even though in that moment I actually was feeling a little teary, because I was just like getting so frustrated, because it was probably like an hour for me looking for this hotel that it was like this relief, and this, I was able to laugh because, it was all divine.
You are divine.
Divine, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So how long were you actually in Amsterdam?
About another 3 days.
Another 3 days.
Very quick.
That was a quick in and out. Okay, so touristy, what did you hit up?
Well, we went to a museum, the Reich. I think it was the Reich Museum.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. Oh, went to the Anne Frank house.
Oh,
that was
wow.
very, very powerful. I cried, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yeah, just energetically, her experience and what she went through, and to think that after 2 years of them hiding, that they were found, and then she was taken to the camp and then died. That was so tragic. But I also had this thought that, how incredible is that she was not like a celebrity. She didn't have fame. She was a young girl, a young woman that was writing about her experience. And look at how many people's lives she has transformed. I mean, she has impacted so many people. So that told me that any one of us can have that kind of impact.
I have chills again. Absolutely. Yes. I mean, that's, yeah. That is a beautiful story. And I'm happy to hear that coming through the Angela lens, and your thoughts on that, because I feel the same way. And I'm glad you went there and experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you do in Amsterdam?
What else did I do? Well, we went to the red light district, of course. That was fun. We went there a couple times. And yeah, it was fun.
I love it.
Yeah, because you know what? The amount of courage that it takes a woman to stand in, because every woman has her own little storefront.
Oh, okay.
Is what it is, right? And it's just a little tiny room, and these women are standing there, and energetically, because I'm an empath, I could feel the feelings that some of them were experiencing. And that was interesting, because I could feel some were they were on their cell phone, like kind of in a way kind of distracting themselves from the attention. And then there were others that were just like, fully standing in their power. And wow, you think about the amount of courage that it takes to stand there on display and just stand in your self. That takes a lot. And so I love watching people. And so I really enjoyed watching the women. I enjoyed seeing their personalities come through. I enjoyed watching the people watching the women. And so there was like, I'm always looking at the, like the energy of what's going on. Yeah. So that was really cool. What else? The coffee shops. The coffee shops are not coffee shops. There are coffee shops, but then there are the marijuana, the ones that they sell at. So visited one of those. There was lots of food. Yeah, it was what I really loved. What was seeing all of the body, like the channels of water. That was so incredibly beautiful. Like everywhere you walk, there's a little channel of water. And so that was really magical, seeing that. And the people, everyone was very, very nice, extremely nice. I'm so glad that I went. Another thing that I was fascinated by was how many people ride their bikes in Amsterdam. That was incredible. It was really cool.
Did you get a chance to ride?
No, but I was like, oh, this would be so much fun just to be biking around. But no, I did not have the opportunity. There was just like not enough time.
I no, you've done a whirlwind. So
I know that was just like the first part.
That was just the first part. So leaving Amsterdam, you arrived back in Bath.
So okay, so this is where it starts getting really juicy, and so I'll make this quick because then we'll have to wrap up and then save it for the next episode. So what happened is yes, I it was time to go back to Bath, but to get there I had to go to London, and yes. So when I went to London, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get back. So I was thinking, well, should I delay my bus, change my bus and leave at a later time? That way I can explore. Well, the dilemma is I had $15 in my bank account. This was all the money I had access to. That was it. Didn't have a credit card, $15. So I was thinking about it as I was on the bus. And I was like, you know what? I have to do it. I have to do it. And so it took £5, which pounds are about like $1.50. Like 1 pound is about, I was getting about 75 cents on the dollar. So to change my bus, that was £5. To leave my luggage, check my luggage at the bus station, that was another £5. So by then I had I had like $3 left in my account.
We're going on an adventure one day.
We are.
Go ahead. Oh, that's happening.
Yes. So, you know what? I was like, well, I'm going to spend the day here, so I better get something to eat. So trusty Starbucks. I love Starbucks because they're like something you can always count on, regardless of how you feel about them. So there was a Starbucks in the bus station. So I had enough money to get myself a small hot chocolate and a croissant. And so I did, and I had like, I don't know, 15 cents in my bank account. And so here's another fun thing about Europe and how they have their bus stations. So everywhere you go, you have to pay to use the restroom. So you have to pay about 20 or 30 pence to get in. So thankfully I had that. And so I used the bathroom to like change my clothes. I had been in my clothes all night. I kind of, took a little, little bath and changed my clothes, did my hair and makeup. I really maximized my time in the bathroom. And
you got your money's worth.
I got my money's worth. So, but while I was in the bathroom, I had posted, I think the night before I left, I had posted one of the items that had been donated for the fundraiser to help me with this trip. And I had already kind of let go of, I didn't think I was actually going to sell it because the program was starting the next day. And, this was Molly Knight Ford's program. She had an 8-week awareness course. Thank you, Molly, for donating that. And so I had kind of let it go. It was, I think, $395. And lo and behold, as I was taking care of business or whatever I was doing in the bathroom and getting changed, I got a message from Carol Ann, I think you might know her, and she wanted to purchase this program. And so, lo and behold, there was the money. So yeah. But the thing was, what she didn't know is at the time, it was like 1 a.m. in the morning for her, and she couldn't, for some reason, get the thing processed. And so she said, I'm going to do it in the morning. So I was in the bus station at, 8 a.m. with, I had just gotten my croissant and I had no more money. And I had to wait 8 hours until the money came through. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to just enjoy this experience. I'm going to walk around London and have a great time. So I did that. Yes. So, this is where we have to end this show, but we will come back and next week we'll continue this conversation. So
everybody hang on for the rest of this ride. It's exciting. It's a nail biter. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I will see you next week, Rhonda, and see you all next week. Come back and enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Awakened Goddess Show. I hope you enjoyed today's guest and got something you can start using in your life right away. For more spiritual insights and to listen to more episodes, subscribe to The Awakened Goddess Show at theawakenedgoddess.com and discover wisdom that'll change your life.